together. I'm going to record it and then I will post it. So if you need to go back and see anything, it should be in Canvas for you. So this first one, it says hypothesis gets underlined once, conclusion gets underlined twice. Do you remember what is important when you're underlining a hypothesis or a conclusion?
The if is like the hypothesis.
What comes after the if, right? Do we include the if?
No.
No. Okay, so your hypothesis right now is what for number one?
You want to win the game.
You want to win the game. So you put one underline there. Your conclusion would be what?
You must play with your heart.
You must play with heart. Okay. So hypothesis once, conclusion twice. All right. Number two, if x plus 15 equals 26, then x equals 11. What's your hypothesis?
X plus 15.
X plus 15 equals 26. Conclusion?
Then x equals 11.
No then. Just x equals 11. Okay? So leave out the if, leave out the then. Okay? Okay. Then counterexamples. What's a counterexample? You're proving it wrong, right? You're saying this doesn't work. So if an animal jumps, then it is a frog. What would a counterexample to that be?
A dog jump.
A dog can jump. So all you have to write there is dog. You don't have to explain anything. Write dog, write kangaroo, write bunny. You just need a word.
That's your counter even on the test.
Wait, let's think of a funny
Yeah,
animal.
you just write a word. Whenever it says find a counterexample, a word or a phrase that makes it true is fine. All right.
Cow.
Number 4.
It could be
Cows can jump.
It could be March, right? Now here's the thing. Your counterexample is just a word again. So March, October, whatever. June works too. Any month that is not January but is also not February. Basically, here's how you want it to be. You want the first part to be true, but the second part false. The first part true, the second part false, right? That would be a counterexample. So still not January, but not
Can cows
that
jump?
second part too. I've never seen a cow jump.
Okay, so that's
That's what I'm saying. I've never seen a cow.
All right. Number 5. Okay, you have to determine true or false. And then if it's false, write a counterexample. If it's true, there is no counterexample, right? Because it's a true statement. So this first one says, if an angle measures 36, then the angle is acute. That's true, right? And I have that circled for you. There is no counterexample if it's true. So you just leave that blank. You don't need to write not applicable. You can just leave it blank. What is the converse? Remember, the conditional is if P, then Q. What's the converse to that?
If the angle is acute, then an angle measures 38 degrees.
Yes, if the angle
That's not right.
is
That's
acute,
not right, Dustin.
then it measures, thanks Molly, 36 degrees. And why is that not right?
Because 46 degrees is also acute.
Right, so we're gonna say that's false, and then you just pick an angle measure that is acute, right? Makes the first part true,
47.
but makes the second part false,
Yeah.
okay?
The second part is false. Oh. You
Um,
can reverse it, can't you?
You can what?
Wouldn't it be correct if you just swapped the if and then? Like,
Yeah, that's what this was, right? That was the original conditional,
okay, so,
and that is true.
okay.
Do you remember how it goes in terms of true and false? Like, if your conditional is true, which other one has to be true? Do you remember?
The other one?
I'm just trying to figure out, the goal of this one is to swap it and say if it's swapped, then it's true or false, right?
Once you swap it, is that true or false? So it's if P,
Okay.
then Q. The converse is if Q, then P, right? Okay, so now the inverse, do you remember how this one goes? If not P, then not Q. Remember I showed you a little dance that went with this? You swap every time. So if P, then Q, if Q, then P. The inverse is if not P, then not Q. So we're going to go back to the original.
So if an angle does not measure 36
Yes.
degrees, then it is not acute.
Yeah, so if an angle doesn't measure 36, then it's not acute. Okay, if an angle doesn't measure 36 degrees, then it is not acute. Now stop and think about that. If an angle is not 36 degrees, could it still be an acute measure?
Yeah.
Yes, but we just said then it's not acute. So this is false. And what would a counterexample be? 47. Okay. Okay, now the contrapositive is if not what? P or Q?
P, Q.
If not Q, then not P. So now all you do is you swap the one above it, right? You take the converse of the inverse. So if the inverse is, if it doesn't measure 36, then it's not acute. Your contrapositive is if an angle is not what? Acute, right? The second part, if an angle is not acute, then it's not 36 degrees, right? So we're just swapping them. Take the inverse and take the converse of it. Is that true or false? If an angle is not acute, then it's not 36. Think about it. If it's not acute, right? So it's not between 0 and 90.
True.
Then it can't be 36, right?
True.
So this one's actually true. Okay, let me just point something out to you real fast. I told you this a long time ago, but it's been a while. So you have conditional, converse, inverse, and contrapositive, right? Those are the 4 phrases. Do you remember which 2 have to always be the same? The first and the last will always have the same truth value, right? And then the 2 in the middle will always have the same truth value.
On the test, will it tell us what like an inverse is, or are we gonna have to remember?
No, you have to remember. But that's why I say do the dance, right? Original, converse, inverse has the negation with it, contrapositive with the negation with it. So it's if you just swap them every time, but then the last 2 add knots in or take knots out, depending on what the wording is.
I'm not good with terms. That's my problem. That's,
Yeah,
I started struggling in this class when we brought in terms.
Right, but listen, if I have, like, I'm not trying to trick you ever. So I'm going to put them in the same order. Conditional, converse, inverse, contrapositive, every time. If you can just remember the swap, if P then Q, if Q then P, if P then Q, if Q then P, right? It just goes back and forth. The only difference is the last 2 negate. So if not P, then not Q. If not Q, then not P. So it zigzags the whole way, right? Q and P just swap, swap, swap. But then remember on the last 2, you add the little knot to them.
Are you gonna have that like? Could you put that on the board for our test, or is that like? No, like is that?
Put this on the board for
Yeah,
your
like
test?
I guess like the formula of it. Just
I might be able to do it with P and Q. Sure. I'll do that right now so I don't forget tomorrow. It's tomorrow.
Our test is tomorrow.
We have English
You
test
learned
tomorrow
something new
too.
every day.
It's been on the board for
Oh my
class.
God.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why do we have so many English
The
tests?
romanticism.
We do have the romanticism.
What is that even on?
Yeah, what is
She
that?
said we're gonna, on Monday, she'll tell us what's on the test.
Why do we have like?
Okay, I'll leave this on the board. Okay?
One at that way.
We have like 2 English tests every
We
week.
have a quiz on Friday.
All right.
You read it out what I mean? Prove my point.
No, I'm in the order it will be in.
Okay.
All right. Number 6 and 7, you have to describe the pattern
Sorry.
and then find the next 2 terms. So we went from 7 to 9, 9 to 12, 12 to 16, 16 to 21, 21 to 27. Anyone see what's happening there?
You add a number,
You
like
add,
three every time.
you add 2 and then 3 and
Wait,
then
that's
4 and then
correct.
5 and then 6 and then 7.
Right. So your next one's going to be to add 7. What would that get you?
34,
34.
42,
And then you add 8.
And then you add 8,
42.
which would get you 42. So your next 2 terms are 34 and 42. To write that pattern, you guys, you can just say plus 2, plus 3, plus 4, and then go dot, dot, dot. Dot, dot, dot means it keeps going, okay? So you don't have to write all the way up to +8 for that. Okay, now 7 is a little different because it's a picture. So you got to be able to describe this to me. What would you describe for that?
3
You add
dots.
a ball
Then
and
4
a
dots.
You add
Then 5 dots.
Add a dot
You add a ball
And
and
then
You add a dot.
inside
Inside
a circle, right? So that would be good. Add 1 dot inside a circle. Okay, so be specific with what's happening, which means your next 2 terms, you're going to need 2 circles. Now, here's the question. Actually, I'm going to let you try. There are right answers here and there are wrong answers here, and there is not one right answer. There are multiple right answers, but there are also multiple wrong answers. So you write how you would do your next 2 terms. And I'm just curious which one you would go with.
like this.
That's how I
Like
do
that.
mine.
I would draw it.
like
Okay, show each other yours. But
No,
fill them
you're
in,
right.
right? They're solid.
Yeah.
Yours is wrong too.
Yeah, 4, so I got the same one as you.
No, you guys are all wrong.
Drew, you're dumb. What is that?
Oh, that one I've not seen before. Huh.
Dice.
No, but
Like
that's true.
dice.
It's like this.
Yeah,
Those look like the
I would take that.
triangles.
Okay, here's what I typically get. I either get what Truett had or what Isaiah has. Where
See,
if
one of
it's
the options.
3, right, you could go 3 vertical,
You're wrong, Drew.
and then you could go 4 vertical. Personally, if it were me,
You
I'm
choose mine.
I'm a very spatial person. I would do this way.
Kickbacks.
Get it, Drew?
But
Come on.
I don't care. What I don't love is if you go like this and then your 4th one is that, because that doesn't make sense to me. All right, counterexample. Show that the conditional is false by finding a counterexample. If an animal has spots, then it's a Dalmatian.
Zebra.
I'm so Christianly offended.
Cheetah.
Cheetah. Sure, zebras have stripes. So you could say a cheetah or any other animal that has spots. A ladybug. Well, is it a boy ladybug that has the spots?
Cow.
A cow.
How?
Okay.
Wait, what's that one disorder called where you have like...
Epilepsy?
No, not epilepsy. Is that the one where you have like...
When you have like
Oh,
Leprosy.
Like,
leprosy. The one in the Bible times.
birthmarks all over your
Leprosy.
body.
No, not birthmarks all over your
Yeah.
body.
Oh.
You're not born with leprosy.
You
No,
cannot
we're
wear
not talking about that.
Like
I
that
don't
one
know.
Fortnite skin. There's a Fortnite skin on it.
That's exactly what I said. I just put it like-
You said a Fortnite.
Anyway. Okay, number 9.
Oh, that pigmentation.
This one says,
Oh, yeah.
okay, think about this. If a whole number is divisible by 2, then it's divisible by 4.
10.
10 is divisible by 2, but it is not divisible by 4.
16.
16 would be making it true, right? 16 is divisible by 4. So we want it to
24.
be divisible by 2. No, 24 would be 2. 22 would work.
24.
24 would not, because that's divisible
It
by
literally
4,
ends with a 4.
right? So make the first part true, make the second part false, right? That's what we're looking for.
26.
Okay, is it a good definition? Cricket is a game played on a large field with a ball and a bat.
No. Baseball.
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 I don't know what
What
cricket
even
is.
is?
You don't have to know what cricket is. You just know it's not a good definition
Indian version of
because
baseball.
you can think of something else played on a field with a ball and a bat. Cricket's the one, it's a paddle. It's like a bat, but it's
Table
more
tennis?
paddle-like. No, it's like a long wooden paddle.
I think they throw the ball at the ground.
Why would they throw the ball to the ground?
Look up
I don't know.
gameplay.
Okay, how about this one? A triangle is a polygon with exactly 3 sides. Is that a good definition of a triangle?
Yes.
Horrible baseball.
What makes something a good definition?
If it's specific.
Specific. Reversible is the best one to check, right? If a polygon is a triangle, then it has exactly 3 sides. If a polygon has exactly 3 sides, then it's a triangle. Both are true. If it's true both ways, then it's a good definition.
Ooh, that sounds like a good definition.
All right,
No.
this one. Okay, now stop and think here, right? This is law of detachment. If a person lives in Manhattan then he or she lives in New York.
Where's Manhattan?
Bethany lives in New York.
That's true.
It just told you, it's in New York. Not possible.
If P,
Not possible.
then Q, listen to me. If P then Q and they tell you Q is true, you have to say not possible because maybe she lives in the Bronx. Maybe she lives in maybe she lives in New York City, right? So she can live in New York but not live in Manhattan. But if it says if she lives in Manhattan, then she lives in New York, that would be true. Okay. Okay, 13. If two lines intersect, they are not parallel. These lines intersect at point P. So what do you say?
They're not parallel.
The lines are not parallel.
This Ruben, are you wearing anything for Adam Sandler Day tomorrow?
My husband told me to wear some of his gym shorts, but they're gonna fall off of me.
I can't wait to
Get
wear
a
nice
drop.
comfy.
I'm just gonna wear whatever I want.
Yeah.
Honestly, you just have to dress comfortably. I can't wait to come to school with like nice, comfy sweatpants and
We should wear our
hoodies,
spirit packs,
just
Isaiah.
sit there.
Does he wear sweatpants?
Yeah, he just dresses in like the most comfortable clothes.
Yeah, thanks.
Have you seen him dress out in public?
Yeah, he's kind of a
I saw
slob.
him on an island.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like wear some nice.
If I wear
sweatpants.
just like gray sweatpants, like
That's what I'm gonna
whatever
do.
shirt I want, whatever shoes I want, and like a hat, like is that fine?
Yeah, that's
This is
exactly.
fine.
I'm gonna wear my
Yeah.
bucket hat tomorrow.
I think that's.
I mean, I don't even know how to dress like him other than baggy shorts and a baggy shirt.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
I should come with my pads and bodies and shit. That'd be funny.
oh,
That
that
would be really funny.
you should do that. Yes, be Bobby Boucher. I love that idea.
Mama said she don't even play none of that food.
Yeah, be the water boy.
I don't
Do
want
that.
to be in my pads when I don't have to be.
I know. Are they kind of stinky?
I hate football right now. No, that's not even
You don't want to represent the team.
Wait,
Yeah,
so are,
I-
wait, are our coaches gonna get fired or no?
Yes, they're gonna get.
Why would
fired.
she
They're not gonna
know?
be here next year.
Why would she know?
Why
Because
would
at the
they?
last
I know
game-
nothing.
Yeah,
Have you seen our record?
I wasn't there.
Okay.
Have you seen
So
our
in the
record?
I don't
locker room,
pay
in the
attention.
locker room, Mr. Lepler had a toss to the coaches, and then the
Oh
coaches
yeah,
came out.
Mr.
Okay.
Like, they really thought we were gonna go out and destroy him.
14 says if you are 16 years old, then you can get a license. If you get your license, then you have a new
If you're
responsibility.
16 years old, then you have a new responsibility.
Right.
That's
Take out
true.
the two things that are the same, right? Get your license, get a license. So you
Yeah, I
say,
feel like I have a lot of the responsibilities as a 16
You do.
year old.
You're crazy.
what other responsibility?
You do everything next week.
Yeah, my birthday's next
I think
Tuesday.
I know.
Happy
I thought I turned
birthday.
16. I think
Nah, I turn 17 next Tuesday.
Happy birthday.
it's you then, Cole, right?
Yeah, Cole's is like this.
Like 20.
Yeah, the 20 something.
Ah, your birthday.
All right. So if you are 16 years old, then you have a new responsibility. Remember, if you end up with an if then statement, you write it. What if you end up with an if statement?
You write not possible.
Not possible. What if you end up with a then statement?
If statement.
It's something that doesn't work. Like if these were the two that were the same and we crossed them out and you said if you're 16, if you get your license, that doesn't make sense,
Yeah,
right?
That's what I'm saying. I'm not-
Right. So you say not possible. It doesn't work. All right, last one. An angle is an obtuse angle when its measure is between 90 and 180. Is that reversible? If an angle is between 90 and 180, then it's obtuse. Is that true?
Wait, I missed
They
that.
call it
Dakota was. Oh.
Did you pop your back?
She broke like she cracked every part of her back.
I know, that's beautiful.
Wait, hold on.
Those are like deep.
That's yours.
Oh my goodness, I can't do that.
Dakota,
much.
respectfully, you need to get checked out, alright? I think there's something wrong with your spine.
I can't say that loud. He's gonna call me.
You didn't call her Dakotas.
Oh, come on.
Oh, Dakota.
Is that a new name?
Yeah.
Have I not heard that?
I feel like you need to ban the word.
Never heard
Okay.
You should
I
have
don't
been
think so.
1930.
Dakota.
Um,
You could ban that word too.
Yeah, totally. Banned.
I don't think.
Wait, I think.
Is this reversible?
Words we have banned, 'cause I kind of forgot.
I know.
We have no
Dakota, I'm glad that you know.
Listen, is this statement true? If an angle is obtuse,
Then it measures between.
then its measures between 90 and 180.
Yeah,
Okay, flip it. If an angle's measure is between 90 and 180, then it's obtuse. Is that true?
Yeah.
Mhm. So then you write a biconditional. How do you write a biconditional?
An angle is an obtuse angle if and only if it measures to the AD.
An angle is an obtuse angle, and then you take out the if and then put in IFF. Its measure is between 90 and 180. Sorry, I didn't use those lines, but you're welcome to if you want. Okay? That's pretty much your test that you just took.
I'm gonna get an A on this.
Are you?
I'm not.
I hope so.
I don't think any of us.
Do we have time for?
I think we all suck at terms. I choose.
No, did we finish the lesson?
Is it?
Did we finish the lesson? We did. And